Ohio. We're high on Ohio. These stories inform and inspire through the words of people who make Ohio home. Good news and good ideas, identifying and acknowledging the excellence that is all around us. Hi there, this is Gene Krebs on behalf of the Center for Community Solutions, and we are high on Ohio. We're doing a series of these short, informal interviews with various thought leaders and power players who have influence in Ohio and nationally. These are meant to be short and helpful to you, our viewer, in understanding how Ohio and America actually work both politically and in the policy realm. Our goal is to increase our civic capacity here in this diverse state. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Charles Murray, who is the Brady Fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, and who about every decade or so publishes a book that just completely changes how we view America and helps to reshape the political structure and how we move forward. Today, he is coming to talk to us about his book, Coming Apart. How did this book come about for you, Dr. Murray?
I've been worried about questions of class division now for at least a couple of decades. A book that I did with Dick Herdenstein called The Bell Curve actually has a lot of the same discussion of the formation of a new upper class that I talk about in Coming Apart. What happened over the last 4 or 5 years is I became aware that trends that I formerly said were in the works and were going to have a major effect on the country now already are having a major effect on the country. We are in a situation in which we have an increasingly isolated new upper class that's different from the upper classes we've had before, with a culture of its own, and we already have a new lower class that also is increasingly developing a distinctive culture that takes it away from the mainstream of American life.
One of the things that struck me the most was you talked about, and you have this great quote in your book, one might also say that if you've never had a job where something doesn't hurt at the end of the day, you don't know what work is. Have we, as a country, lost our value of work?
One of the things that I have recently made my own personal cause is to change the way we think about work and the course of a career. Right now, what we do is divide people into those without a college degree, and they're sort of, you know, they work at these manual jobs and so forth. And then you have those people who do have a college degree who are somehow working at more prestigious things. That's not the way it works. In every job, no matter whether you're a carpenter or a farmer or a European historian, you go from being an apprentice, where you really don't know what you're doing, but you're learning, to being a journeyman, where you've become pretty competent. And if you work hard enough and have enough talent, a few get to be master craftsmen. I want us to start thinking about all jobs in that light, and to think of the master carpenter in the same framework that we think of the senior historian, who is in fact a master historian. How you do that? Well, the good news here is that I think the traditional college structure is under tremendous economic pressure and under tremendous technological pressure. I think this kind of artificial system we've had, where you have to get a BA, is on its way out, probably within the next couple of decades, just because it's increasingly obvious that it is a meaningless piece of paper, this thing we call a BA.
There is some recent data that says we now have 1.5 million college graduates working retail. In 1985, the number of college graduates from there to now who have majored in the hard sciences has stayed essentially flat. Yet those that have been in the softer sciences has essentially doubled. We do not seem to be trained people for what they need to be trained for right now.
Most of what goes on in today's colleges has no relevance to anything that the students will be doing ever again. You know, I'm a big believer in a classical liberal education as learning how to think, getting a rigorous education and the best that has been said and thought. All of these aspects of a classical liberal education are just as good as people have always said they are. We don't give a classical liberal education at college anymore. If you major in history or sociology, You do not come away from that having grappled with these great issues. You come away having taken courses in, well, there's some pretty frivolous courses out there. And none of this has taught you how to think. You've gotten A minuses on all your papers because of great inflation. For a great many college undergraduates, it's 4 years that mom and dad are paying for, and you have a good time, and then you have to start thinking about what you're going to do with your life. That's not a model that works.
Okay.